Hello everyone and welcome back. Now, as most of you know, when I'm not voicing my usually incorrect opinions about politics and crazy ideology on the internet, and basically mercilessly just bullying people like an asshole on the internet, I'm playing video games. And today we're playing Grim Dawn. As you can see, I've already played the game a little bit. I've got a lady down here named Savine, a Nightblade. I got her to 16. I had a lot of fun with that. I played an Arcanist just now just to see how the class plays. You can see the graphics are a little weird, a little dark, pretty grim, you might say. And then, of course, my first character was named Brigand Boy, and I just decided to make a Shaman, which is a two-handed, like, caster class, sort of. You kind of buff yourself and you have pets. That's the idea anyway, but I haven't got very far on him. I figured I'd show you guys this game because I think it's really cool. It very much reminds me of Diablo 2. It does not remind me of Diablo 3, it reminds me of Diablo 2. Now let me show you how this works real quick. We'll go ahead and start. So I'm going to skip over the cutscene. Oh, because I'm an idiot, I didn't start a new character. Go back and do that again. Create character. So this is kind of weird when you actually do create a new character. It doesn't, like, want to create it right off the bat. You can see it didn't show up in the list there. There we go. So you got to create it twice for whatever reason. So that was one weird little thing that happens with this game. Hit start. Instead of skip over this eventually. Hey, here we are.
Still drawing breath, I see. You're one lucky bastard, I'll give you that.
So,
speak to Captain Bourbon right away.
I like the name is Captain Bourbon. Captain Bourbon.
He's up the road.
That's usually, oh, Captain, my Captain. That's how I feel. Sometimes about bourbon. Not always, though. So you can see that the graphics are very reminiscent of Diablo 2. Not so much Diablo 3. Diablo 3 is much more... I mean, you know, it's still dark, but Diablo 3 seems more cartoony by comparison. I don't know how else to put it. I still like the graphics in Diablo 3. It's just not the same as this, and this is very much more reminiscent of Diablo 2. Okay, I'm going to skip through all of this stuff and kind of basically give you a rundown. You are essentially a person who came back from the dead. I mean, that's the best way to explain it without going into spoilers too much. And I won't explain all that stuff, because if you do like the way this game looks, you should just go pick it up. It's a good game, and I got it for fairly cheap. I got it on the Steam summer sale for fairly cheap. I think it was like 14 bucks. It was the most expensive game I bought in the entire day when I was drunk off my ass and bought a whole bunch of other games like an idiot. Okay, so the combat is very simple. You just left and right click stuff. You can hold down space to stop. Like this. And then just hit stuff. So if you do decide to be a ranged caster, you actually can just stand back and shoot stuff with your mouse without having to run up to them. Basic standard Diablo 2 kind of fare. So you start off with just a club and a shield. And you don't get any changes at all until you get to your first level, which will happen fairly soon here. You can see there's my experience bar right there. That's your spirit or energy. And there's your health. Very straightforward. If you've played any Diablo games before you, this is nothing new. What I do like about it is it's got kind of an Old West feel to it. I mean, with a lot of magic, of course. It's an almost Old West feel, because there's also some weird, like... I don't know. There's like the Black Legion, which is supposed to be an army of people who run the Empire. I don't know. It's weird. There's a huge story to this thing, and it's actually really well done. Anyway, so now that we've leveled up, you can hit C to go to your character screen. Here's your character screen. You can see that just like in Diablo 2, you have an entire bunch of inventory space here. This actually ends up being a backpack later on once you get it from somebody. You can see that they have basic stats on all the items, very clear cut. And then you can increase your 3 different stats: physique, cunning, and spirit. And this guy, I think I'm going to actually go ahead and show you the classes first. So you hit your skill button, which is S, first. It'll give you this screen. You can choose between 6 classes. Now I think when you hit level 10, you can actually choose a second class. You can go to another class, because I had that happen on my Nightblade. This time around, I'm going to try out the only one... Well, I haven't tried out the Demolitionist either. Let's see. That's kind of, with the name I picked, I don't know. Let's go for a Demolitionist. Alright, there you go. So you can see you have to put points into your class in order to level up your class, and then you can put points into your different abilities to level up your abilities. We've got Fire Strike. Alright. That's kind of cool, like a trap of some kind. Do that one for my regular attack, and then I kind of like the idea of stunning people as they come at me. Alright, and then over here you just right click. This is left and right click. I'm going to go ahead and put my mending and my spirit potions over there, because it doesn't make sense for it to be over at like 9 and 10 on the keyboard. And then this, you just right click to change this stuff. And put stun jacks on my right click so I can shoot like that and then throw stun jacks down like that. Kind of cool. I don't have a firearm yet, so I'm not much of a ranged character just yet. You can see I'm already hitting pretty hard, which is pretty nice. Alright, there's no Alt key as far as I can tell. Like in Diablo 2, you just held down all the time, and then you could find everything that was hanging out on the ground. In this one, there really isn't any way to do that I have been able to see, so you really do have to kind of like know what to look for, and then have your mouse just kind of wander around the screen until you find something. Which is odd, because usually there's something right there. Every one of the ones I've played so far, every one of the characters I've played so far, the thing is actually up there. Alright, scrap is going to be for building stuff. That's what this is. Kind of a resource for bridges and quests and so on. So if you find scrap, don't throw it away. Well, that does a decent amount of damage too. Doesn't just stun him. Got a great sword. I'm not really terribly interested in having a great sword on me, but I'll use it. Just for now. Again, a Demolitionist I think is supposed to be a ranged character, not a in-your-face, hit you with a two-handed sword, rather, type of character. Whew, that hits pretty hard. I think I already killed that entire house full of stuff. No idea why they were fighting each other. Oh, they were fighting those little bug guys. That makes sense. So the other cool thing about this game is that the enemies, they aren't all one huge faction. I mean, they're all enemies, but if I hit J real quick, you'll see that there's a bunch of different types of enemies. The Ethereals, the Chthonians, which I don't know what they are, and then of course there's those weird bugs which are... They're just like a regular neutral faction. I mean, they're your enemies, but they don't have their own faction, so you can't gain or lose it. So zombies, or whatever these things are going to be called, they actually do end up fighting the bugs. Which I think is a pretty nice touch. I feel like the enemies in Diablo 2, and Diablo 3 too, are really, really dumb. Like, they all just attack you. They never attack each other, they never fight amongst themselves. And, you know, I mean, the game's really fun, up to a point, but it just doesn't make it feel like it's a real world, if that makes any sense. It's a top-down, isometric kind of action game, so it's not like you should be expecting a lot of immersion, but there's just a lot of detail that goes into this game, and there's no change, so far as I can tell, in the layout of any of the maps so far. So that's the trade-off, is that there's a lot of detail, yes, but it's not generated just by math, you know. It's not procedurally generated. Oh, it's blocked with a tree. Okay. And then I'll show you the map real quick, because I have to do that again. So you can see this is the local map. That's where I came from over there, the safety of the town. They want me to go in here and find out where the undead are coming from, and then stop them from popping up. So instead I'm just going to kill everything that I see. Once I kill that thing, I'm going to kill these guys too. This guy right here. And that guy. Did I already get the gun? I did. Let's put the gun on. Actually, there is, unlike Diablo 2, an inventory sort, which is not too terrible. And it'll work both ways, by the way. It won't just go to the left, it'll go top, down, and up. So it'll do either way. Which I find to be very convenient because I am a stickler for trying to keep my inventory organized. So another weird thing they've got in this game that I've never actually seen before is something called food rations. If you pick up food, this little, you can kind of see it. It's not really visible right now because I don't have less of it than normal. But this glowing yellow thing around the health is kind of like your fast regen aura. So the more of that you have, the more of your health will regen faster when you're out of combat. And that has to do with, I think, whether or not you've had any food recently. So you'll find food all over the map, and it'll show up on your map as well, which is nice. I like how hard this guy hits with just a pistol. So far I can't complain. Oop. Cool. That looks like a shirt that was just on the ground. I know it wasn't, but it really looked like it. Alright, let me show you the map real quick. The actual map, the world map. Here it is. So that right there is where we're at. And we actually ended up having to get to right here. I think that's about where the cave is. Later on I have to go all the way up to the village. It's quite a ways. I didn't even get there on any of my other characters except for the Nightblade, the level 17 character. So the world's quite huge. It's not a small game by any means. I do tend to get bored of these type of games, these isometric action type of games, RPGs. Eventually. Because you're just using your mouse and you're not really doing a lot. You're just kind of pointing and clicking at things and they're dying. I kind of feel like I like actually having a little bit more of a visceral feel to things. Like I feel like I need to react, which is why I think I played the hell out of Dark Souls 3 so much, because I really felt like I was actually having to do something every time I fought anything. But I still enjoy these games for what they are, and I actually like going through them for the story. It's kind of like reading a book, which if you're not into reading books, then maybe you won't like this game. You probably will. Whew. Guys got some hit points. So yeah, when you fight a boss like that and you hit them with a ranged attack, you actually have to go up and hit that little glowy thing they drop, or else they won't drop anything. So when you do fight a boss, if you play this game, don't just assume it didn't drop anything. Shoot the little glowy thing, it'll drop all their stuff. Alright. New shield. Better pants. Oh, and then there's also these, like you get notes that'll drop from certain places all over the world, and if you click on them, it'll not only give you a story, but it'll also give you experience, which is kind of nice. And the story is it never changes. Like, you can keep picking these guys up for every character, and it'll be the same ones over and over again. They're also in the same location every time, as far as I can tell. The only thing that seems to be random is sometimes the makeup of the enemies in certain spots, and what you get, like what kind of items you get. The green items that I've picked up, like the sword and this gun that I'm using, they don't seem to be random at all. I get them every playthrough. But the yellow items, blue items, which are incredibly rare, I think they're like set pieces or some weird thing, because I've only seen one of them. And that kind of thing. Those things are, as far as I can tell, completely random, because I've only gotten one on one character so far. Cool. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. You can see that it's incredibly detailed still. Just going around showing you the swamp real quick. I like the music. I really like the music. I like the ambient sounds they have. The frogs in the background right now. You can see it got louder because I'm out here. It's kind of subtle. They put a lot of work into this game. It looks really nice. It plays really well. The classes are fun. All of the ones I've played so far are fun. The one I've had the most fun with so far is the Arcanist, the caster. The main sorcerer type person. The boss battles are interesting. Mostly it's just a really tough enemy you gotta dodge attacks on. You don't have to do a lot. It's not quite like an action game. I mean, if you've played any kind of top-down game like this, you know how it is. You just have enough stats to survive. That's pretty much it. It's very rare that you'll have to do a lot of running around and juking and jiving and dodging and stuff. It's just going to be positioning and then shooting things until they're dead. Pretty simple. But you can see it's all really grim, dark, gritty. I'm going to show you one more thing before I go. I'm almost to the part where I can show you this part. So, aether crystals. Basically, that's where all these guys come from. It's, not to spoil the story at all, but it's, you know, it's not that big of a story yet. All this stuff comes from another dimension that was... all these things were banished to another dimension a long time ago by what one of the main characters calls the Old Gods. And now all these crazy things are coming back because some human decided to summon them. And you get little bits and pieces of the story as to how that happened. This isn't Earth either, as far as I can tell. I mean, the map doesn't look like anything, so... it's definitely not Earth. But it's all just humans. There's no elves or dwarves or anything like that. And like I said, it really does kind of look like it's the Old West as opposed to a classic fantasy setting, which I really kind of dig the heck out of. I kind of got tired of the old fantasy setting. I'd probably be bored with this if this was just like elves and dwarves and all that stuff. We're almost there. I'm actually going to level up too, because why not? I can show you how it works again. Besides, it'll be easier to kill stuff if I have myself leveled up a little bit more. Heck with you guys. Alright. I think for this guy, we're probably going to end up wanting to do cunning, but I'm not sure yet. And flashbang. Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to show you too, so I'll show you that once I get to the shrine. Also, you can pause the game by hitting the spacebar, which is nice. Which I did by accident. And then one in spirit, I guess. So physique will actually just increase your health points. Cunning increases your range damage and physical damage. And then spirit increases your magical damage. So your traps, your spells, that kind of thing. I wonder if I can dual wield that. Nope. That's not something I can do. I can dual wield if I'm playing a Nightblade. But I haven't been able to dual wield with anybody else. So I'm assuming it's a class thing. Alright, and then I'll level this guy up because that does a lot of damage, and that one, and we'll go to the level 2, just because, why not? Black water cocktail, I'm assuming it's some kind of explosive thing? It is. Nice, okay. So that's a toggled buff. That's what that is. No, I'm good. I don't particularly want that. I will put another one in that one, though. I know, I should probably get the flashbangs, but I'm not interested. I think flame touch is what I want, right? Yeah, okay. We can toggle that on. And that gives me some kind of a buff. Alright, this is the cave that I'm supposed to head to stop the undead from pouring out of it. A little bit of frame loss there, that was weird. I really like the way the spells look. Oh, I should probably get out of the thing. Derpy derpy. Don't stand in the fire. DPS 101. This is why I don't play WoW in a guild or a group, because everybody would hate me. And there it is, that's the boss. So that takes care of the undead from this cave for the most part. I still have to go kill the rest of them, but that's pretty much it. Let me show you the thing I wanted to show you guys, which is the next. Jeez, it's the last part of leveling up that I am aware of, other than switching classes. Get through all these guys real quick. Alright, pick up an Aether Crystal real quick. See this thing here? It says Ruined Shrine. There's also, it's like, there's another kind of shrine as well, which is basically, instead of just coming over and clicking on it, you actually have to fight enemies to basically restore it. But when you restore it, it does this. It gives you a bunch of stuff. You know, random stuff. Is it? It really is, my goodness. Alright, is that enough? It is. Alright, now that I've got that, I can hit S. And so this is where you level up your class, but over here is where you level up your constellation, your devotion to whatever type of constellation you want to go for. In this particular case, since I'm playing a trapper, I probably want to go, I don't know, maybe that way? I don't really know. Trauma damage. But each one of these constellations has a different bonus. Free projectiles, physical damage, bleeding damage, cunning. So if you went this direction, for instance, if you go ahead and click on, say, oh, wait, no, sorry, that one right there. So that's all the green stuff. If you wanted to go the green way, those are all the green constellations, which there are a lot of. There you go, zoom out a little bit. If you wanted to go the order way, there they are up there. If you wanted to go for Ascendant, they're all over the place. But mostly they're down in the bottom right. They're pretty cool looking. And then of course there's Chaos, which for an explosive expert is probably going to be the way I want to go. And then finally there's the blue guys, which is something you'd probably want to pick if you're a shaman, primordial, so it's going to be like animals and that kind of stuff. So for this guy, I'm probably, like I said, going to go for Chaos, which means I'm probably going to go this direction. Yeah. We can undo that and go for this instead. So you can see here it actually gives me a little bit of affinity. I'm not sure what the affinity actually does. I just know that that tracks what, you know, how much you've put in there. But you will see if you actually do the whole constellation of the rat here, it'll give you 2 affinity in the red and 3 in the green. And I'm not sure what that does yet. I'm sure that that'll play in somewhere later on in the game, but I got to level 17, like I said, and there's still no indication to me what those do. But obviously that's another complicated system that just adds more depth to the game. This basically just gives you more stats, that kind of thing. It makes the game less boring, which is important because, again, it is a top-down kind of game. You can zoom in a lot, and there is some decent graphics to be had to look at in this game. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of detail. But again, if you're like me, eventually this game's going to bore the hell out of you, so any amount of depth that they add is a good thing. I really do dig this game. Once again, that is Grim Dawn. It is currently on sale, I believe, for like 20 bucks. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's not on sale anymore. Either way, if it is cheap for you, I would definitely recommend picking it up. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did, leave a like. Feel free to, in the comments, tell me why I suck if you didn't like it. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys another time.